The question before us right now is, are infants also to be baptized? Now, even within Reformed circles, there's no disagreement as to whether baptism should occur, but the disagreement occurs as to who should be baptized. There are many believing Christians who believe that only those who are able to express their faith are to be baptized, whereas many in the Reformed and Presbyterian circles believe that infants are also to be baptized. But the question is, why? Why are infants to be baptized? Well, let's start off with the answer that the Heidelberg Catechism gives. It says, are infants also to be baptized? In question 74, yes, for since they, as well as the adult, are included in the covenant and church of God, and since redemption from sin by the blood of Christ and the Holy Spirit, the author of faith, is promised to them no less than to the adult, they must therefore by baptism as a sign of the covenant also be admitted into the Christian church, and be distinguished from the children of unbelievers, as was done in the Old Covenant or Testament by circumcision, instead of which baptism is instituted in the New Covenant. See, when people ask me about infant baptism, the simple answer to me comes down to covenant community. In the Old Testament, when we read of the covenant being given, we read of the children of the believers, the children of Israel, still babies, being circumcised. Yes, it was only the male children, but they were the ones being circumcised. Were they able to exercise their faith? Certainly not. But it was an act upon the parents' behalf of the exercising of their faith, saying that their children were going to be part of the covenant community, part of the covenant family. That's why the Heidelberg Catechism uses the language that it does. It's a sign of the covenant. Our children are to be distinguished from the children of unbelievers. And so, we baptize our children. We baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. We have the parents take these covenant vows on behalf of the children. We don't believe that anything magic is happening in the baptism, but what is really happening is their inclusion. It is the rite of their initiation into the covenant community, just as circumcision was in the Old Covenant. Let's just look at one passage here for a second from Colossians chapter 2, where Paul relates circumcision to baptism. Colossians chapter 2, verses 11 through 13. In him you were also circumcised with a circumcision made without hands, by putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Christ, buried with him in baptism, in which you were also raised with him through faith in the working of God who raised him from the dead. And also being dead in your trespasses and uncircumcision of your flesh, he made alive together with him, having forgiven all your trespasses. Why are infants to be baptized? We can look at Acts and look at household baptisms, and we can look at all sorts of reasons, but the main reason comes down to the covenant of God and the covenant community of God. We, the church, are the covenant community. We are spiritual Israel. And so God gave us an extension, so to speak, a new form, if we can put it that way, of circumcision. Circumcision was Old Covenant. In the New Covenant, we have baptism, that rite that signifies that we are part of the covenant community. Now later on, these infants, as they grow in their faith, will eventually have to take the vows of membership for themselves, have their own faith. This doesn't declare or in any way ensure that they will come to faith, but it is an act saying that we as the parents, we as the church, commit to their upbringing and their participation in the covenant community. Hope this helps you to understand a little bit about why we baptize infants.